Welcome at ZuidAs today. Leonie, welcome. Mindfulbizz, mindfulness-based learning and development. At the ZuidAs. Why at the ZuidAs?
Yes, thank you for asking, Ruth. Well, I started my career on ZuidAs as a strategy consultant, and we would work on very complex and dynamic questions. And the world is changing very fast, and it really requires an agile mindset for people to be able to reinvent yourself as a person, as a company, and stay connected to yourself and to others and to the wider context and really work together. But human mindset is not naturally very agile. We tend to revert quickly to our survival mode, reptilian brain, when we're under pressure.
Mindfulness at ZuidAs. How does that work? I mean, a lot of people at the ZuidAs working here, they compare it a little bit with flaky, floaty. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, we hear that a lot. People tend to think that it is like yoga and it's flaky, and mindfulness as a word has a really bad rep. But attention training might be a better word for it, because that's really what it is. And that sits better with our clients at ZuidAs. They understand that our attention is under siege, that a lot of different media and technology we have constantly distract us. People understand that the higher pressure that we work under, with more work, with less people, targets, very driven, that also has its effect on our brain, and that we tend to be, again, reptilian brain driven when we're in that area. And people also tend to try and multitask when a lot is going on, and also that actually has negative effects on the brain. Science shows that.
Science, so there is science behind your story. Tell me about it.
Yes, that might surprise people, but there's a lot of scientific research that has been done on the effects of attention training. A lot of benefits, too many to mention, but the main benefit is that all the effects of pressure, scatterbrain, multitasking on the brain, which is pretty much this, we revert to our reptilian brain, and the pathways to our care system and our common sense, our knowledge, our skills, our stored skills, those pathways deteriorate through all those conditions. And mindfulness training, attention training, is shown to reverse that process.
So why focusing on learning and development, Leonie?
Yeah, so it's a learning and development program. So why? Well, because Jean-François Manzoni is a person, he's the president of IMD Lausanne Business School, and he has recently said in a presentation, look, mindfulness attention training is here to stay. It's not a fad, but rather will be the baseline of all your learning and development, because only real learning and development can take place when you really change your behavior. When under pressure, you don't revert back to that primitive survival mode brain part, which then requires that attention training.
What kind of options does Mindfulbizz offer?
Yeah, different building blocks to really make a learning and development program so that people train their attention consciously, continuously, and also revisit it regularly so that you really learn to change behavior, because that's the hardest thing for people to do. So we have building blocks around training employees, management, leaders, offsites, retreats, to build a real program and have different components to play with.
So how can companies get started with this program?
We usually start with low-grade stepping stones, introduction workshops, because that's where companies are still scared to introduce this topic into their company. And usually when we run introduction workshops, we notice, and the managers notice, that there's a lot more appetite for this than they might have thought. And from there, they can take a next step to decide, are people signing up for a training? Would they want to get started? And we really invite HR managers or managers who want to get started with this to connect to us, to come and talk, and we make tailor-made programs really designed around a company's needs and around the language that they speak. So we invite them to connect to us.
Hey Leonie, thank you so much for telling me more about mindfulness. This was ZuidAs today, and tomorrow I will be on another spot at the ZuidAs. Thank you.